when I've said to people, I am going to do the comedy night. The first reaction is, oh God, you're brave. Having overcome that one, the next question that they ask is, why? And that's sort of what happens when I'm coming up on stage right now, is going, shit, I don't feel that brave. And the why? Well, yeah, I should really answer the why question. I sort of want to put some more humour into my talks. I thought this might be a good way of learning how to do it. Okay, don't laugh at that one. And I speak on confidence. I talk about the imposter phenomenon. I talk about the fact that we have this internal bit inside our heads, well, at least I do, I know not everybody does, that says, I'm not really as successful, I'm not really as good as they think I am. So tonight I thought I'd prove that. And we've heard tonight about a number of, or earlier today, about a number of people who travel for their work, haven't we? And as professional speakers, you know travel is an important part of your business. It's an important part of my business. And last week, I travelled to a gig. I travelled to London. Yeah, all the way from Cambridge. It should take 50 minutes by train. But that day was the day of the rail replacement bus service. I know. It's a terrible oxymoron, because rail replacement and bus service just do not go together. First of all, there was one double-decker bus that appeared to replace an 8-carriage train. Have you ever had that experience where you know you are just going to miss getting on that bus? At least 20 minutes later, I was at the front of the queue for the single-decker that appeared. And the lady that was checking the tickets, oh yes, they still check tickets on a bus. The lady that was checking the tickets did not guarantee that there would be a train waiting for us at the next station. It's like, how helpful is that? And to boost my confidence further, the bus driver was using his sat-nav. Now, sat-navs, don't get me wrong, sat-navs can be really, really useful. For instance, when you need to find your way around the Leeds Loop. Anyone else been lost around Leeds Loop? Yes. Okay, or let's say Birmingham. As Dave Heiner says, it's a big city, Birmingham. Okay, not many of you read that post on Facebook then. Anyway, sat-nav's a lazy way of driving sometimes, don't you think? Yeah, sometimes you check into the vehicle and you check out your brain. Chris Cooper, did you say that you programmed the wrong postcode to get here today and were a tad late on arriving? Just happens to, yeah, some of us. I knew you'd be there somewhere. I can't see you the lights yet. So another lazy trend that really gets me frustrated, and I don't know if any of you are guilty of this particular trend, but it's this trend from homemade to shop bought. Okay, which in the case of my dad's homemade raspberry wine might not be such a bad idea. However, take shop bought hummus. Shop bought hummus is quite frankly bland. Tasteless. Probably down to its main ingredient, the chickpea. The chickpea then needs something to spice it up. So what do they put with it? Tahini, which is made from sesame seeds. I mean, how exciting an ingredient is that? So I do homemade hummus with a secret ingredient, and that is the fresh, powerful, pungent, homegrown garlic. I have an allotment. It's not in Africa, it's in Cambridge. And the allotment grows many, many weeds, but it grows fabulous garlic. Bob has the plot next door, and Bob is on the allotment committee. Now, the allotment committee seems to consist of people who desire power and have failed to get it by any other means. And I am really hoping that that is going to be a job for Donald Trump. So, shop bought or homemade? Homemade hummus. Has anyone tried to make homemade hummus? You take the tin of chickpeas and you shake the chickpeas out of the tin into the sieve. That's the first problem. Half of them remain in the tin. When you finally extract your chickpeas with one violent shake, they go into the sieve, which upends and lands them all into the washing up bowl. You have to retrieve them all from the washing up bowl and give them a rinse, for hygiene reasons, of course. Then you're supposed to blend your chickpeas to a smooth consistency. Has anyone ever tried blending chickpeas? You take one Philips hand blender. Other brands are available, by the way. Put your chickpeas in the bowl, put the blender on top of the chickpeas, and press start. Well, chickpeas will do anything to avoid being blended, and they explode everywhere. Smooth consistency and chickpeas does not go together either. So God knows what they do to the shop-bought hummus. Another really lazy trend from homemade to shop-bought is the humble sandwich. And by the way, if you've ever made your homemade hummus, has anyone had the thought of suddenly forgetting that they've made it, and by a week later they've left it in the back of the fridge and it's gone mouldy? Yes, a few nods now. Yeah. Well, the homemade hummus, great, but then they've got the sandwich, the humble sandwich. How hard can it be to take 2 slices of bread and put a hunk of cheese in the middle? But oh no, we must go now for duck and hoisin sauce in a wrap. Or perhaps you go for the crayfish and mango salad. Ooh. So I'm going to commend to you tonight, PSA Mega, that you have the chance to do something extraordinary, and that is to eat your homemade mouldy hummus, because you can always scrape the mould off. This thing about throwing food away is a load of tosh. Scrape the mould off your hummus and eat it. Eat dry cheese sandwiches and save the world that way. And when I went to London, what did I have for lunch? Crayfish and mango salad.
Three acts left before we all